Hey everybody, welcome to my missile testing video. So in my hostile star system series, I've had problems with the missiles don't seem to be exploding when they crash into things, or they're not doing as much damage as I think they should. So I wanted to do some testing. So I hopped onto my creative test world for that. First off, let's do a number one is going to be just a baseline. This is what's happening now. I guess it doesn't matter. Grab one of these from far away. And we want to go full speed and hopefully hit the target. Let's zoom in so we can see it. Warheads armed. And so yeah, I didn't see a lot of explosion. Saw some bad accuracy, but we're used to that. Okay, so we have a dart. It's right up against it on purpose, and we're just gonna detonate it in place and see how much damage that does. Oh, they're all safe. Alright, so they're all armed. Now we can detonate it. Boom! Yep. And that's what I thought. Big difference between the baseline test and crashed into, and we just blow up right next to. So what I think is happening is I think the warheads are getting destroyed without a chance to trigger. So I think we hit this and we're doing so much damage and the damage is propagated back that the whole thing just blows up. Where is the controller? Yeah. Is there an event controller on this? No, there's not. Of course there's not. So we're going to put an event controller. Make it the same color, just to be nice. We need something here, some kind of cheap block that gets destroyed. So I can't just put the camera as the block that gets destroyed, or else, one lucky shot to the camera and the whole thing blows up. So it's got to be behind the camera. So I may drop one of these warheads to add something else. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's just something the event controller can pick up. Ha. I like the light through the thing. Alright, so event controller. Okay, so what we've done here is we added a light behind our heavy armor block. So we have the heavy armor block, so if we take a hit, our main camera goes down, it'll have to get through the heavy armor block, and if the spotlight goes below 5%, it just detonates everything. So let's try that with the block that registers destruction. I don't know if I have the event, if this integrity less than will work. I hope so, but let's find out. Yeah. Aiming for target number 3. And that clearly did not work. I mean, that armor kind of looks cool, all dented that way, but let's change the event controller from block integrity to block added and removed. Okay. When block is added, when removed or destroyed is 2. So detonate. I can't. This isn't. I don't think that's going to be what I want. I think it will work. I don't think it's quite. I don't think it's what I want, because I think it's going to be any block that's removed. But we'll try it, and we will see. I think I'm going for 4, right? No. 7. Ah! Well, it exploded. Let's try that again. Jeez. So we are going to try that again, and I totally didn't screw that up at all. Yep. Nope. Didn't do anything. So let's do Block added. I wish I could specify the block. But we are going to remove that. Now, on block added or destroyed, detonate. So let's aim for that, and we will just go face first into it. And hope I don't screw it up. Totally the first time I'm doing this. It still didn't work. Okay. So I guess the event controller isn't... See, I don't know. I don't know what's causing... I think it's happening... the blocks are getting destroyed and it's not propagating... Yeah, little pieces. Let me try... Let me grab another one. I set up a few of these. Nope. That. Event controller. Let's add the camera. And see if that... So, let's try aiming at 5. And we may have to repair these and try again. All armed. And... nothing. I mean, these are pretty much identical. It's just a straight-up impact. Okay, so I added a sensor, and I made the block. So basically, it's the missile, the size of the missile. Turn detect players off. We don't want it blowing up for players or floating objects. We want small ships, large ships, stations, subgrids, and I think that's about it. Neutral and enemy. Don't blow up on our own stuff. Added safety because you know how terrible I am at hitting anything. Actions. And when it's triggered, we're going to detonate. It should work, hopefully. Hopefully it'll work. It may... We'll see if it happens too fast again. There's number 6. Let's see if we can get there. Warheads are armed. Let's try to hit it right in the middle and hope this explodes. And it pancaked without detonating. So that didn't work. Okay, so we are going to grab control of a drone. Let's do the right extent out to 2.5 meters so that it's a little bit further out on the in front. It's the right extent, so it should be further out on the front. Let's try that. We are headed for number 7. Warheads are armed. We are incoming. Max 100 meters per second. That worked. So we just needed a little more. That really worked. Number 7 is gone. So using a sensor seems to work, and we will just have to, make it a little further in front. Grab a copy. Alright, we're going to try it one more time, just to make sure that we didn't have a fluke. So either one of these should be, let's double check that we got the sensor, 2.4, yep. Either one of these should be exactly what we need. Arm the warheads. It's a little far. We're going to have to do some testing. I guess if they shoot the sensor, maybe that could be a problem. And it didn't work for some reason. Why didn't that work for some reason? I guess I was traveling so fast that it just did not have time to initiate. 2.6? Let's try 2.6. And if that works, we can cut it, we can reduce it. And try until we find the optimal where at max speed, at max speed we don't just detonate. Or we don't just smash in, we actually detonate. So, here we go. Max speed. 0.6 worked. But will it always work? That's the question. Sensor. Let's get the other one. 2.5? Let's try 2.5. Let's go ahead and arm the warheads. Ready! 2.5 does not work. 2.6. There we go. Maybe I can type right. We are going for target number 5. Warheads armed. Charge! Max speed achieved. And it didn't work. Why does this work sometimes but not others? We'll extend it out until we are sure it always works. This time, we still got a couple. So the sensor, we are going to go to 2.8. Make sure the actions are still set up. There we go. Alright, so we want 6. We're going in. Warheads armed. Max speed reached. And it worked. Why did it work? Why did it work twice but not others? I think it's just traveling too fast that the system doesn't have time to detect it and fire everything before for the sensor to activate, for the system to process, and then explode. It's just moving too fast. So we will try this again. And we're going to take some testing. Let's go out to 3 meters. Yes, we're going after 5. Warheads are armed. Then we'll have to do some testing at various speeds because... and... So 3 meters worked. At least once. Let's see if we can duplicate our results. Let's make sure he is set to 3 meters. He is. That was the one we set up. Now, of course, we'll have to test it to make sure it works with the AI blocks. Warheads armed. We are at 100 meters per second. And it didn't work. We have 10 targets. Actually, I set up 12. But we have our targets. We're going to send 10 of these. 10 darts at 3.5 meter with our 3.5 meter sensor range, and see how that works. So one failed. Incoming! Ah! That one worked. It's not looking so good, is it? Straight in. And boom. So that one worked. I don't know what the difference is of them working and not working. Number 7. So number 9. That worked. Okay, so number 10. Alright, so there we go. Out of 10 tries, we had 4 successes at 3.5 meters. The last 2 were success. So there's that, but... So, let's try extending it out further. So, alright, so we set up... I have 10 targets, and this time I got wise and actually blueprinted my targeting platform. So I don't have to spend time actually fixing it. But anyway, enough about me being stupid. I increased the sensor range to 4 meters on the drones, and I set up 10 drones. We're going to try another 10 shots at 10 meters, or at 4 meters, with the sensor range 4 meters, so it's way out in front. and we will see how that works. Okay, so where are we at with 4 meters? We had 3 success and 7 failure, so it's getting worse. Let's just double it to 8 meters. See if 8 meters will get me... I don't know that that will... see if that gets me an explosion every time. Because we're just not getting an explosion, and that's really concerning. So let's just bump it up to 8 meters. So yeah, way, way out there. Way out there in front. 8.0 meters. Alright. Yes, I'm writing this down on a piece of paper. Because I'm old. Okay. So, at 8 meters, we have 6 succeeded and 4 failed. What are we doing? We're trying another one with a 12 meter sensor. Okay, so with a 12 meter range, we only had 2 failures. I guess I can live with that. We can try to go a little bigger to see if we can get it to always blow up, but I mean, we had a couple of failures, but we also had this one that blew up that didn't do a crap ton of damage, but that's okay as long as it blows up. So let's try one more. Let's go out to 16 meters. I'm worried that if I go out too far, it's going to blow up too soon and not do much damage either, which is just as bad as not blowing up at all. Test number 1. Yeah, see? It successfully blew up, but it wasn't close enough to do any damage. Yeah, it did a little bit of damage, didn't it? Yeah, it did a little bit, but not enough. Not enough to even more than slightly warp the steel plates. So, all 10 of the 16 meters detonated, which is progress. But 2 of them did nothing. Didn't even noticeably warp the steel plates. Like this one, I mean, we got a couple of steel plates that are damaged, and this last one, I don't even know what the problem is here. I don't see any damage. Something's obviously damaged, but it didn't actually do anything. So, yeah. But at 16 meters, they all detonated. So let's dial it back. Okay, 14 meters. Okay, so, what is this result? So with the 16 meter sensor range, every missile exploded, but 2 of them hardly did any damage, and 1 did very minor damage. At a 14 meter range, or the 14 meter sensor range, 1 failed to explode, and 1 detonated and did what? I can't tell much of anything, and did very minor damage. So I think I would rather take. I think 14 meters is about the best I'm gonna get. I mean, maybe I could finagle it to tenths of a meter, but no, I'm just gonna go with 14. Yeah. So what did we try with our missiles? You know, and it looks. Look at this. It looks ridiculous how far ahead that is. And I imagine if I'm flying slowly, this is gonna detonate way too early. It really is. Yeah, if I fly from this, it's gonna detonate and it's not gonna do anything. Because I'm just not moving fast enough to do it. So it's going to be a balancing act here on how fast you want to go, uh, what have you. So I think one thing that I want to try real quick uh, is increase right extent. Let's put this on here. I don't care about, so that I can at least get it on my hotbar, and at this range I can control it. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do that. So that's why our missiles aren't detecting it at high speed. It just happens too fast. Maybe if I had just a super beefy computer, my computer's a year or so old. It was really good when I bought it, but there are probably better systems. Maybe if you have this massive $10,000 system, it'll you can adjust the sensor ranges closer. But I'm going with 14 meters on mine because that seems to work on my sensor. I'd suggest setting it up. Maybe doing some tests in creative on your system to see what works best. But yeah, so I get to update this blueprint. Let's go over here so we can see it. And yeah, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the sensor vision. And yeah, that works. I'm happy. All right, here's a handy reference for all the data I collected in my testing here. The 3.5 meter sensor range, just past the nose of the missile. 6 failed and 4 succeeded. Pushing it out to 4 meters, I had 7 fail and 3 succeed. I don't know if I was unlucky with the 4 meter or just extra lucky with the 3.5 meter, but either way, neither one of them was acceptable. So I did 2 tests at 8 meter sensor range. Both me driving the missile with the remote block, or the AI driving the missile, and got the exact same result. So I'm not going to include the AI driven because that's just repetitive ad nauseum. On the 12-meter range, we had 8 successfully explode and 2 fail. And then the last 2, I think, are kind of the most interesting results because the numbers don't tell you everything. With the 14-meter, we had 9 succeed in exploding and 1 fail. But one of the ones that succeeded exploded too far away to actually do any damage. So, And then on the 16-meter range, all 10 of them successfully exploded, but 2 of them exploded so far away that they basically did no damage, and one of them did very, very little damage. So what's the conclusion here? Well, we tried doing it with an event controller a couple of ways, but the only really reliable way of detonating it seems to be a sensor. But the sensor has its own drawbacks. We had to extend the range so far out to make it reliable that it could, if the target we launch on is so close with the AI blocks, it won't have enough time to get up to speed, and it'll detonate too early and not do any damage. If something we blow a chunk off the ship and it floats in just the right spot, it could explode early. There's some significant drawbacks to the sensor, but I really think it's the best we can do at this point. What do I think is actually going on here? I think that the code that Keen is using to destroy the blocks on a collision doesn't include the check to trigger warheads. That very well could be an intentional choice. Even in real life, shooting a bomb isn't necessarily a great idea for making it go off. Mythbusters proved you could shoot a grenade and it wouldn't detonate. So it's possible this is intentional. I tend to lean kind of towards it's a bug, but whether it's intentional or not, we'll have to see if they change it in the future. But in the meantime, I'm going to go with the sensor, and hopefully that'll solve my problem in most cases, because most of the time I think I'm going to use this offensively at range, Otherwise, if it's really short range, then hopefully I'll have turrets to deal with it. So yeah, that's what I think about this. Um, Let me know if you guys like this content. Like and subscribe, all that jazz if you want to. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.